Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your social media compass. My name is Jacqueline Baker, and I'm excited to be joined by my new friend, Ford Coleman. How are you today?
Doing great, Jacqueline. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Of course, I'm terrific. I'm excited to be chatting with you.
Yeah, totally excited to dive in and talk about some exciting things.
Okay, so tell everyone listening, who are you? What do you do? What makes you awesome? All the good stuff.
I am a founder, born and raised in Atlanta, but I have been working on a business for the past 2.5 years that connects companies to college students for jobs, part-time internships, full-time internships, or their first job out of school. So yeah, we've worked with about 300 employers already in the past 2.5 years, and we're just trying to encourage more companies to hire young talent.
That's amazing. How did you get into that?
So I at first was working on some different ideas, but my hypothesis was always the same, wanting to find out ways to help young people make more money. So I had all sorts of other ideas where kind of like a Craigslist for college students so they could provide and sell services to and from each other. I connected college students to like babysitting gigs, pet care gigs, and stuff like that. And on my kind of in that business, I had all these students that signed up wanting to make money in different areas, right? And so one of my sort of categories that I was working on to help college students make money was freelancing. So connecting college students to like freelance work opportunities. And one day I went door to door in Atlanta to companies around like Georgia Tech in Midtown. And I asked to talk to the founders and CEOs. And then I asked them a simple question: would you ever hire a Georgia Tech student? I went to Georgia Tech. So that's the tie there. But I asked, would you ever hire a Georgia Tech student for any projects that y'all are working on? And myself, I didn't have an issue like getting jobs or networking around or anything in college. So I didn't expect kind of the freelancing category to really make it or do anything. But to my surprise, like 80% of these companies are like, heck yeah, we got a ton of stuff that we need help with. We'd love to hire a Georgia Tech student. And we actually have no idea how to find like a Georgia Tech student for this kind of work. So that just kind of like light bulb went off in my head and was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. I ended up getting two customers just from that activity because two businesses were like, oh, yeah, we need help with, X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? And then I was like, oh, yeah, totally. I know plenty of people that could help with that. I didn't actually know anyone, but I was like, all right, just tell me what you need and then I'll go and figure it out. Right. So I ended up getting two kind of projects uh, in my pipeline, and then found the students for the jobs, and the total project amount was like $8,000, and for yeah, like each one was like $4,000. And so all the other stuff I was doing, helping getting kids to clean out parents' garages or watching their neighbor's dog, all that was like $20, $10 gigs. So I kind of thought to myself, well, should I go with the business where I can get two customers for $8,000, or one where I have to get 1,000 customers to get $8,000? Probably the one where I just have to get two. There's probably a bigger market here. So that's how I fell into the space. And then I just totally pivoted into it, and then just kept trying to hunt down companies that would be interested in hiring college students, and then finding college students who, that were good, that were vetted, that could do the tasks for
Wow, that almost seems like a happy accident, if you will.
them. Yeah, it totally was. And again, because like I was thinking on way other side of the spectrum on all my ideas, and I didn't. It was like if I did not go in person, door to door to businesses and just ask the question, I would have never. I would have never come up with the. I would have just abolished it. I would have just written it off, assumed like there's no way there's something here for this. So it was a very awesome, happy coincidence.
Yeah, because it's also like an aggressive approach, like in a good way.
Totally, yeah. I mean, not people probably not. There's not many people out there that would probably go door to door like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm like a hustler at heart, so it works for me. That approach did.
Yeah. What kind of marketing techniques do you use right now?
A lot of posting organic content on social media. So it's kind of the age of the personal brand these days. And so I'm trying to build an audience on social media, and I use that as marketing to talk about educational things in my niche. Um, and that's really our main marketing strategy. I mean, I do cold emailing. It's a little bit more sales than marketing, but it's kind of the same, a little bit the same thing. But that's what we do.
Yeah, like from what I see on your LinkedIn, you seem to be doing really great.
Yeah, believe it or not, I only started posting back in like August. So I have grown my LinkedIn from I think like 8,000 connections. They weren't like following my content or anything, right? There's like connections I accrued from networking around with people. Um, to now like almost 80,000. And like, and like, I did the thing where I got a mentor to teach me how to do it, teach me what I don't know. So I kind of signed up for some classes on how to, grow your LinkedIn, and then just was ruthlessly consistent on executing on that strategy, posting every single day, not missing a day, um, always trying to kind of be innovative with the content that you're producing. Like it's got to look good, it's got to be very simple and digestible for people. So yeah, honestly, it was signing up for classes and learning from people that have done it before, because they are the ones that know, not me.
No, for sure. Like again, your content's really good and your engagement is like fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm trying to get into. I've seen the gains so much on the LinkedIn front, so quadrupling down, going on X, Instagram, and YouTube this year, which is stretching me quite thin. A lot of I feel like founders have excuses like, oh no, like I can't get into the social media game because it takes so much time. But the amount of leverage it gives you is like unreal, and all you're doing, I mean, you're advertising, you're marketing. So it's like, what is more important than an early stage company that's trying to get traction than to like get more people to know who you are?
Yeah, like do you get a lot of leads through LinkedIn right now, would you say?
Oh, totally. I mean, I got one. I like signed a $50,000 profit deal with a company. They're a publicly traded company, like publicly traded on the Nasdaq, um, and they purely came inbound from my content. And never, number one, I would have never known to reach out to them. Number two, if I did reach out to them, like they probably wouldn't have responded to me. And it's in, it increases your service area of luck when you put yourself out there, and more opportunities come in if more people know who you are and what you
I
do.
agree. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to grow their business using LinkedIn?
I would say post every single day. I would say post educational content. Don't just like blabber about how good your company is. Post like actually like educational content that your ICP would find valuable. For example, right? I have a staffing company that helps college students get jobs or connect companies to college students. I post a lot about things that would be valuable to HR teams or, heads of HR or hiring managers, right? I'm not just posting all the time. College students are so great. You have to hire them, and Runway is so good. Please use us. Like that doesn't really work. So it's very posting, educational, top of funnel content to grow, and doing that every single day for 6 straight months.
How often do you spend like commenting?
Commenting is, I mean, it's important to engage in like other people's content that are posting similar things. So, I mean, on my posts, I comment like for about the first 45 minutes after I'm posting. I'm like responding to people that are commenting on my content, and then I have like a dozen or so creators that I comment on whenever they post, just because they're building similar audiences.
Yeah, I know it's super helpful because basically then, as you know, their audience sees your name as well.
Of course. Yeah. And I mean, if you have a really good comment, then your comment shows up at the very top.
Exactly. You know, that's always the goal.
Yeah. So it can be, I mean, you can't just like automate, like automate and build systems right off the bat. When I was getting
No,
started,
no.
I was probably spending about 30 to 35 hours a week on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, which is pretty
That's a
crazy,
lot.
especially if when you're like a founder and you're responsible for all the sales and like all the operations and like a lot of customer support and everything for your business. I was stretched pretty thin, pulling the hair out of my head, but I knew the leverage it would create, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah, because when it's worth it, like you see, like, okay, this is why I work so hard. Now I'm getting all these leads and all this business.
Yeah, and I mean, you're building a brand, so it takes a lot of time to build a brand.
Oh, you can say that again.
Yeah, takes a long, 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 long time to build a brand.
Yeah. Are you happy with your system right now, or do you feel like there's things that you would want to improve, like in your LinkedIn marketing? I mean,
For LinkedIn, I mean, well, I mean, I'm never satisfied. I got an insatiable appetite. Um, so, but right now, I mean, I don't. It's more about the 1%.
no, that's amazing. No, I'm very happy for you, and I'm glad to hear that you have so many great things going on. What are your goals for the next year with your business?
Yeah, we're totally bootstrapped. I'm in year 3 right now, so my goal is to triple the business. After my first year, my goal was to 3x, and I did that last year. So my goal is to 3x it again. We'll be like just shy of 1 million in annual revenue if we accomplish that.
Are you only on LinkedIn, or do you have other platforms too?
I have other platforms, but I literally just started on January 1st, so I got a long way to go on those.
Oh yeah, I know that's super recent, and it takes time.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's two. I mean, I'm going to be doing this stuff for the next 5 years, so it's not the whole like get rich quick or the whole overnight success story does not exist.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. It's easy to look at other folks and feel like, oh, they got so successful so fast, blah, 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 but you never know the full story.
Totally. So I'm like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things too, for my LinkedIn going from 8,000 to whatever, 80,000 in 6 months, like 6 months is not that long.
No, that's very short, honestly. No, that's great. Sometimes it could take years, if not more. But you found a system that works and you stuck to it, and that's a really important thing. Have you gotten any really cool opportunities like from being on LinkedIn?
Um, it just the exposure is good. Like I'm starting to, have conversations with publicists and writers, journalists. Obviously appearing on, different podcasts here and there that have their own audiences that are similar to or that enjoy things that I talk about and write about, right? So that opens up new doors. Obviously, like I said, other, like customers I've gotten have been from that. So total a lot of wins. Hoping to get like some speaking gigs at local events or conferences and stuff. And so having posting out content can help you get those gigs, right? If a conference wants someone that talks about something and you are constantly writing and talking about that online, that gives you a good chance of pitching yourself to speak at that conference.
Yeah, I feel like it's so easy to think like, oh, everyone must know this. It's super obvious, like when we're in the field, but that's not always the case.
Again, I mean, I recommend any founder, entrepreneur, like 2025 doing business, you gotta get on social media.
I cannot agree more. I spend lots of time on social media.
Yeah, I mean, it can be toxic, but like, I was anti social media like my whole life. I've never been into it. I had LinkedIn just because like I'm into business and I like into business connections. But then I saw like the leverage you can get out of it, and I was like, okay, wow. So like if I have a big online presence, my business makes more money. Okay, let's get a big online presence.
Exactly. No, I completely agree with you. Do you have any like final thoughts or ideas or advice you want to share before we start wrapping up?
No, I mean, as you know, if the audience for this is mostly for like founders, entrepreneurs, and stuff, I can touch a little bit on more on that journey. But if it's more about kind of growing your personal brand, I think we hit hit it pretty good on that one. But I think a lot of founders kind of make mistakes of right building too early. I was lost in that. I was in like the 0 to 1 phase as a founder myself for about 2 years before I fell into this, and it was because I was like building, not talking to customers, just not doing anything right. Uh, and it wasn't until like I started to hit the pavement was when I started finding success. And like I don't think I didn't have a website or anything until we like I'd already done like 100K in sales.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. What's the best way that people could get in touch with you?
Best way would be to well, to reach out to me on any of my social channels. I'm Ford Coleman on LinkedIn or at Ford Coleman underscore on Instagram or X. And that's the best way. I'm all over that stuff. So I'll respond right away to anyone.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, Jacqueline, thank you so much for the invitation. I really enjoyed back and forth conversation.
Good. Yeah. So all of Ford's info will be in the show notes below. So please be sure to get in touch with him. I promise you will love his content. It is amazing. And until next time, I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.